Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, there's so much going on in crypto, it is wild, but we're going to take a little bit of a focused look on Cardano, as there's a couple of things happening right now that you guys need to all be made aware of. Now, straight off the bat here, let me quickly say Cardano is by far one of my favorite crypto projects. They've been doing extremely well over the last couple of months, and that is not necessarily in terms of price, but mostly in terms of process, progress, whatever you want to call it right there. Cardano is one of those blockchains that does research very well, not necessarily come up with the newest things the fastest. That's definitely not one of the perks that they do have. No, for sure that ain't it. But what they do have, what they do possess quite nicely so, is a researched, stable, and I would say peer-reviewed approach, meaning that if they introduce something, if they go ahead and do something, it'll most likely be done very well. And that's one of the things that we greatly appreciate about Cardano. Having said that, they recently had themselves a very big upgrade, mostly in terms of scalability, and for the longer term, this upgrade was dubbed the Vasil hard fork, was a relatively, or I should say extremely important intermediary measure. Or in other words, just a very important update. Again, how it basically works with Cardano is they're not the first ones to get things done, or not the first one to conceptualize a completely new thing for blockchain tech, I guess. They just look at what's already been done and then go their own way through research and try to perfect it exactly. So what we know would work well, try to figure out exactly how to make that work the best as possible, and then implement it. Meaning, a lot of the things which Cardano is up to over the next couple of months, or let's say even years, have already been thought out. They're already being researched very, very thoroughly. And all it takes is just the right steps to get where they want to go. And partially, that is just, that there needs to be more research done. And partially, that's also ecosystem growth. Partially, it's also that, I guess, you can only just code so much, right? You can't code everything all at once. Sometimes the entire network needs some time to mature. And one of the things which we saw and we're waiting for, basically, was this new stablecoin. Now, let me add here real quick. Cardano has been out there for a pretty long while. But if I ask you right now to name some Cardano dApps, you might actually have a little bit of trouble. What's the most famous Cardano decentralized exchange, for example? Which one? What's the most famous Cardano native stablecoin? You might have a little bit of trouble. And that's why this announcement is such a big deal. ADA, Cardano-powered algorithmic stablecoin JED, undergoing the final audit. Now, you might look at this and start thinking, Dusty, my buddy, what do you talk about with this algorithmic stablecoin? You talked many times about the whole Luna situation. I even had one article about it open. Here we go. Do Kwon responds to falsehoods reporting of South Korea freezing his assets worth 40 million in crypto. The whole Do Kwon situation is interesting. Why are you into an algorithmic stablecoin? As I said before, guys, the way that Cardano does these things is, well, they take a look at what's already been done and what, theoretically speaking, should work, and then perfect it, basically. Now, JED has been in the works for I don't even know how long, a ridiculously long time. But the reason that it's not out there, or at least has not been, is because they wanted to make sure that things were done right. Now, an important part to understand is that this officially is not from Cardano. You can see or read right there. There's a fintech startup called the Cody Group, who are the issuer of this algorithmic stablecoin. But since it's built on Cardano, usually these things are, gone through in a similar fashion. You can also read right here that, for example, IOG, which Charles Hoskinson is the CEO of, is the blockchain technology firm responsible for the research and development of the Cardano, ADA, and fintech group startup Cody Group that have unveiled JED. Again, we already had a little announcement over a year ago, an official white paper actually. But to give you a kind of brief little overview, JED's use of smart contracts ensures price stabilization, which is again to keep it roughly at a $1. And JED can be useful in decentralized finance. It works by keeping a reserve of base coins and minting and burning stable coins and reserve coins. I would actually have to add right here that a stablecoin does not officially have to be pegged to $1. In theory, a stablecoin has to be stable to the value that it represents. So it could, theoretically speaking, always be, for example, $444, or a specific ratio between specific different cryptos to represent something. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say. It should be stable to the thing it wants to be stable to, not necessarily to $1. Now, the reason that this is such a big deal is to be the best of our knowledge, this is the first stablecoin protocol where stability claims are precisely and mathematically stated and proven. Furthermore, the claims and their proofs are formally verified using two different techniques, you don't really need to know exactly what techniques. All you need to know is, well, they've seen the Luna collapse. They've seen the entire debacle of UST. Most likely, if they get this out there, which it's pretty close right now, they're going to make sure it's done right. And again, the reason that this is such a big deal is because JED isn't just a stablecoin built upon Cardano's chain. It is also designed to become the ultimate coin with which Cardano's entire network transaction fees will be paid. Now, hopefully you have a better idea as to why this is so extremely popular, why people are so extremely excited about Cardano right now in terms of they're making good progress. You know, we've had I'm noticing I put my chair I put my chair down for that little bit and I forgot to put the chair up, so hopefully we're I forgot about it. By the way, guys, make sure you press that like button if you're enjoying these videos, and also let me know down below if you're holding ADA right now. I've actually bought a pretty good bag of ADA a little while ago. I think it was actually a couple weeks before the Vaso hard fork, and as I described to you guys, there was a pretty big chance the Vaso hard fork was going to be a buy the rumors, sell the news type of event because of what happened to Ethereum after the merge. But I also told you guys Cardano is a longer term project that, even though many people are calling it out for not not delivering on their promises, I like to disagree with that. I like to say Cardano has promised from the get-go, hey, we're planning to be this sort of platformer like, for example, in Ethereum, but then built more stably or better in a peer-reviewed manner. We'll not be the fastest one to rush projects out, but over a longer term, we think that the way in which we do things will work out better. And the reason I'm saying it so carefully here is because, well, if you look at the 1-year performance, Cardano has done a lot based upon hype, right? In terms of, actually, we could say 5-year performance even. Even the previous bull run in 2017. It's done a lot of this performance based upon hype because at that point, it was mostly just an idea. Things have radically changed over time. The most important part being the fact they have put a lot of things on the map and right now are taking bigger leaps. So at first there was nothing, then there was the genesis, so to speak. Then they started taking some steps to kind of catch up with the other projects. Right now, they're on par with a lot of other layer ones, maybe slightly below it, but they're taking very big steps to put themselves on that map or above by, well, drastically doing things better than the others. Let me continue on though with a couple of very small but interesting parts. So JED, for example, the coin, and its reserves coins mint and burn fees will be charged in ADA and will be entered into an equity pool of the protocol. The reserve coin holders get a share of this pool as an incentive for their participation in maintaining the JED's PAG ratio. As the provider of this service, users will be subject to operating fees that will be paid in ADA and deducted from the initial deposit and operational costs. We plan on converting such ADA fees to CODI coins initially by buying CODI directly in the market and supporting the demand for CODI. Again, you got to also remember a lot of people were not happy with Cardano because, well, there was not as much activity. That's why their major upgrades matter so much because mostly it is for developers, for scalability, for the longer term, and just, building foundations. There was actually another article which I saw, Cardano's JED stablecoin to see greater use in Africa due to this partnership. Well, you got to understand actually another small part about, I guess, the entire debacle of this, which is that Cardano has some motives that, for a lot of people in the West, they don't really care about. For example, where Charles Hoskinson, in, I must admit, a similar fashion as, for example, CZ from Binance, heads over to different countries in Africa. They did a little Africa tour earlier this year and helps out with, for example, identity solutions and whatnot. Or, I guess, storing your credentials, schooling ones, for example, on the blockchain. A lot of that stuff does not really reflect in the price, but it's still worth a mention that they're doing so. In a similar sense that Ripple, a lot of the work that they've put into helping payments out for the better, a lot of that does not add to the price, but it's still an amazing, amazing thing. Not sure why I said amazing, but okay. And I know you guys can't see anymore, but what was just in the screen as well was this Empower x JED partnership. We actually just showcased it. It's the article that I showed regarding the JED stablecoins use in Africa. And what it just said is a little context. Empower will be looking at utilizing the JED stablecoin as a means to transfer funds to our building partners across Africa. They're just basically trying to help grow this blockchain tech over Africa and for building and stuff. The point, however, still stands that the final audit still has to come out. I guess the result of the final audit still has to come out. That will determine whether or not there's any failures or any issues. And from that point forward, we'll see JED or we'll see JED not for a very long time. So one thing they have to do, I guess, is get the fees lowered, but I think that's done within this latest update or the one that's coming up. But most importantly, if there's no issues found right now, it can be deployed onto mainnet. We'll see pretty shortly. And so obviously, I'm very hyped about it. So just wanted to quickly share that with you guys. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it, though. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, to put a long story short, I'll see you guys again in another crypto video, most likely tomorrow or maybe later today. I don't really know. Yeah. Honestly, Cardano, actually, just a little side note. Cardano is really one of my favorite coins. I don't put it out there too much. And I honestly notice that before, when I used to make Cardano videos, they used to do really well in terms of views. Right now, not so much. But it still remains one of my favorite coins. Even though the hype might have kind of died out for a lot of people, I don't mind, to be honest. I don't mind. I'll keep holding on to it for a very long time. I think it's one of the best out there. And that's mostly for longevity purposes, right? Over longer terms, I think it will exceed a lot of the competition. Short term, it's not that hyped up right now. It's not that hypey like a lot of other projects are. So for that reason, I wouldn't say go for it. Longer term, I think we're solid with this one, which is why I'm pretty damn excited, guys. But yeah, that was it. See ya.